Hey everybody! It is Tuesday. It is probably around right around 12:30, which is actually the first time in a long time that I've actually managed to do Timeout Tuesday at 12:30, like I started doing. But this is episode 116, so that makes it 116 weeks that I've been putting these little short videos out. And as you know, it's a lot of it has to do with just kind of what's on my mind. Sometimes it relates to the dojo. Sometimes it doesn't relate to the dojo. Maybe it relates to maybe a bigger concept of either parenting or fitness or whatever really kind of comes into my mind. And you know, as you might expect, what's on my mind these days is probably very similar in a lot of ways to what's on everybody's mind. And a lot of what I've been spending my time doing is adapting, changing the way we're doing everything. Everything at the dojo had to change almost immediately overnight. We had to switch from having classes, 30 classes every week to 35 classes that we're doing now online every week. We had a mission to make sure that there was no lapse. So immediately we kind of switched over and we started doing these online classes. And almost instantaneously, we got better and better at figuring out the problems associated with teaching through distance learning and kind of figuring out what little methodologies we can use that are as close to the same way that we've done things in the past. So it was very important to me that we didn't just throw a bunch of videos out there and say, okay, push the play button and go try to learn something. Let me know if you get it. That to me was way too far removed from what I think is really important in terms of the connection with the students, the ability to actually see what they're doing in real time and try to get them to avoid practicing something that's not going to be particularly helpful to them. And so by using the technology that we are using now, I'm able to watch, I think our largest class so far was about 32 kids that we had in class. And I'm able to move through all 32 of them while we're practicing something and start commenting on one by one, tell them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. I'm able to take questions just like I do in class. And I'm actually able to elicit feedback from them just like I do during class. I like to have a lot of engagement with them during class. I like to get them thinking rather than just being lectured to. And I'm able to do this through a combination of hand signals or unmuting people's mics, or sometimes I unmute everybody's mics. That usually gets pretty noisy pretty quick. And then we also wanted to make sure that we didn't lose touch with some of the other important things, the milestones that our students are achieving, whether it has to do with the number of classes they're attending or when we celebrate birthdays in the school. I wanted to be able to continue having our junior instructors and our junior instructors help out with classes, either by critiquing or working with students and helping them by critiquing them or warming up the classes and teaching drills and things like that. All of this stuff was very important to me, and I wanted to make sure we can do that. And we're getting better and better at every day. Instructors now have managed to warm up the classes. I'm able to hand the class over to them, take the class back from them. We're working on a couple of other things to really expand that into a multiple classroom type of a situation online so that we can even cover more territory on a more individualized basis. So really, we're just going to get better and better at this, and we're going to just continue adapting. And, I've learned more about our art and how to dissect it and put it back together again, because that's really what became necessary here to make sure that we were continuing the education, making sure that the students were learning and progressing through our existing curriculum, plus some new things that emerged as I started thinking about the ways we do things. So really, at the end of the day, both online and I believe that when we return back to the school for regular, in-person classes, I believe that we're going to be better for it. And I've learned more about teaching and learning in the last couple of weeks than I think I really have over the last year, easily. And it's not just martial arts that's really held true for. So, over the last couple of weeks, those of you who might follow me on Facebook on my personal page know that, I've been learning an awful lot about indoor gardening and outdoor gardening and different methods of outdoor gardening. And I've really started putting these things to task, not just reading about them, not just watching videos, but, I've already kind of set up my garden. I've already prepped it for a whole new way of gardening outdoors this coming spring and summer. My indoor garden is utterly ridiculous. We have several hundred seedlings already growing, and we have a couple of hundred more about to be planted. We're keeping ourselves very busy. We're getting creative in terms of our groceries and how we utilize our groceries. And I've witnessed other fascinating things. I've actually witnessed an invention actually take place in my house. I can't really talk about it right now, but something kind of really cool was actually invented, and to the best of our knowledge, it doesn't exist anywhere. So we're kind of interested in pursuing that. So we are pursuing that because we have some time, and I think we've all witnessed some other pretty amazing things. We've seen people really step up. Situations like this really kind of show people's mettle. I've seen people that have stepped up to really try to help be creative and help teach. And in our school, we've seen a parade of our local teachers go by this morning, honking their horns, showing solidarity with their students. Clearly the medical community, the first responder community, how they've stepped up and, are always have put themselves at risk. But now that risk has just changed so dramatically. And yet these people are continually, going to work to do their job, to try to help other people. And this is really going to be an amazing time when we look back at it. But one of the things I think is really important is that we try to keep ourselves interested in new things and seek out things that can help reduce the stress of what else is happening around us. And there are things that we just can't control right now. And if we obsess on these things, it's going to wear us down. It's just going to beat us down. And that's not going to really help you. And so my suggestion is find interests, find projects around your house, do something new, do something that's exciting, try to get creative, keep your mind off of the negativity, and do that while you're being very careful. And anybody that knows me knows I never speak politically or controversially. I like to keep my opinions like that to myself. But I will say this. One of the ways of reducing stress, at least in my personal life, in that of my immediate family in this house, my mother and my brother down south where he lives, is that we've isolated ourselves. We were very militant about that isolation at a very early stage. All of us have exceeded 15, in some cases 25, 28 days of isolation now, or social distancing, I guess would be the better way to say that. And once we kind of got past that point of being less concerned about our own personal immediate health, and we continue to be militant about this, that actually dropped our stress level quite a bit. And again, there are people that are not able to socially distance themselves because of their occupations, as I mentioned, the first responders, the medical community, people that are in other essential businesses. And, to those people, I thank you personally, and I know pretty much the whole world is thanking you right now, and I literally mean the whole world in this case. But where you're able to distance yourself and able to give yourself that peace of mind and do for the rest of the community by not being someone out there that could be, helping to be part of a problem. I urge you to do that, and I think that you might actually find yourself at a much lower stress level. If you're watching this right now, hit that like button or something. Let me know that or the frown button if you disagree with me on that. You can be honest with me. I always say honesty is the best policy. So in any case, go out and learn something. Find something to become an expert in during this period of time. Come out of this a stronger person, maybe with a whole new knowledge, maybe a whole new way of running your business or doing your job. And let's look back on this time as a super scary, but somehow an event that had positive results for many of us. So with that said, I wish you all best health, safety. I will see everybody in classes. Our classes are actually growing every single day. They're getting larger and larger. Today I have to actually figure out some tricks to being able to see more students at the same time in class. Right now I'm able to see 16 people at a time, but that's actually becoming a little bit of scrolling back and forth that I'd like to see if I can avoid. So I'm going to see if I can find a way to have 2 giant screens running so I can see more. But anyway, that's it for today. I wish everybody peace and health, and I look forward to seeing you online, but I obviously, like everyone else, look forward to seeing people in person and re-engaging at a more normal human level. With that said, I wish everybody a great day today. Peace.